Scientists claim there is a surprising climate change culprit: sandwiches. The overall annual consumption of sandwiches across the UK has the same environmental impact as the use of around 8 million cars a year, scientists have claimed. Researchers arrived at the figure after studying the carbon footprint of different types of sandwiches, both homemade and prepackaged. The ready-made all-day breakfast sandwich containing egg, bacon and sausage was found to be the worst offender. It produces the equivalent of 1,441 grams of CO2, which is the same as driving a car for 12 miles. Scroll down for video. The team from the University of Manchester calculated the carbon dioxide equivalent, CO2 EQ, a standard unit for measuring carbon footprints, for the snacks. They took into account how the ingredients were produced, the packaging, as well as food waste discarded at home and elsewhere in the supply chain. Their calculation was based on British Sandwich Association, BSA, figures that 11.5 billion sandwiches are eaten each year in the UK. Professor Adisa Zapagic, from the university's School of Chemical Engineering and Analytical Sciences, said, consuming 11.5 billion sandwiches annually in the UK generates, on average, 9.5 million tons of CO2 EQ, equivalent to the annual use of 8.6 million cars. Those containing pork meat, bacon, ham or sausages, cheese, tomato or prawns were also deemed as carbon-intensive by the researchers. The homemade favorite ham and cheese was found to have the lowest CO2 EQ. Writing in the journal Sustainable Production and Consumption, the team said, the estimated impact from ready-made sandwiches ranges from 739 grams CO2 EQ for egg and crust to 1,441 grams CO2 EQ for the bacon, sausage and egg option. The carbon footprint of the most popular homemade sandwich, ham and cheese, varies from 399 to 843 grams CO2 EQ per sandwich, depending on the recipe. Agricultural production and processing of ingredients were found to be the largest contributor to a sandwich's carbon footprint. They accounted for around 37–67% of CO2 EQ for ready-made sandwiches, with packaging material coming in 8.5% of CO2 EQ, and transporting and refrigerating adding a further 4%. Keeping sandwiches chilled in supermarkets and shops accounts for up to a quarter of their greenhouse gas emission equivalent, the researchers said. They found that making them at home using the same ingredients could reduce carbon emissions by 50%. The team concluded that a combination of changes to the recipes, packaging and waste disposal could have the carbon footprint of the sandwiches. According to the BSA, extending the shelf life of sandwiches can help reduce 2,000 tons of sandwich waste annually. Professor Zapagic said, "We need to change the labeling of food to increase the use by date as these are usually quite conservative." Commercial sandwiches undergo rigorous shelf life testing and are normally safe for consumption beyond the use by date stated on the label. Given that sandwiches are a staple of the British diet as well as their significant market share in the food sector, it is important to understand the contribution from this sector to the emissions of greenhouse gases.